right, Black and White Network supporters. Well, it's Monday, and you know what Monday means. Monday means Chicago weekend chaos, and this time, well, let's just say that it seems Halloween got involved. And anytime there is a holiday in Chicago, in Brandon Johnson, Chicago, you can figure, for lack of a better way of putting it, all hell is going to break loose. And it did. It did. I love how they use terms like mass shootings when what we're really talking about here is somebody did a massive, large-scale drive-by shooting, essentially, is what it sounds like here. When you see this, but they're trying to spin. In other words, they want to label the same crime that happened here as the crime that happened up in Maine, right? Where you had somebody that was extremely mentally deranged that did something versus some thug hoodlum gangbangers that pulled some thug shit in Chicago. Let's not get the two confused here, okay? Want to make sure we just keep that in mind. And don't worry, Brandon Johnson did run his mouth about this shooting. 35 shot, 4 fatally in Chicago. Weekend gun violence. At least, and the reason I went through that little spiel I just gave you, Chicago police are questioning a suspect in a mass shooting at a Halloween party. Okay. All right. I see what you tried to do there, media, but it didn't work. 2 people were also fatally stabbed, police says. A suspect in custody after allegedly wounding 15 people while shooting into a crowd gathering early Sunday in Lawndale neighborhood. The suspect allegedly fired shots into a crowd at about 1 a.m. in the 1200 block of South Pulaski Road. Chicago police said he fled the scene on foot and was taken into custody nearby. Police said a handgun was recovered. See, there's a mentally deranged lunatic, and then there's just flat criminals doing gang-related urban violence bullshit. And I'm sorry, but I think there is a difference between the two. Victims' ages range from 26 to 53. 2 of them, a 26-year-old woman with a gunshot wounds to the hip and buttocks, and 48-year-old man shot in the hip and both thighs, were listed in critical condition at Mount Sinai Hospital. According to police, the rest of the victims were listed in good condition at various hospitals, police said. Area detectives are investigating the shooting. Before we continue with the urban warfare, Mayor Johnson issued a statement about the Halloween party. By the way, I could not find here, and we'll keep going down, but we'll see if he says anything about actually getting tough on crime or funding the police. I wager a lot of money he does not. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson on Sunday said his heart was, quote, with the victims' family and communities impacted by Sunday morning's mass shooting, there we go again, that wounded 15 people at a Halloween party in North Lawndale. This is their way of trying to blame guns in general, all right, is trying to tie certain things together, and we know that's not how any of this works. The suspect fled the scene following the shooting and was taken into custody in the 4000 block of 14th Street, according to officials. According to Chicago police, the location where the gathering took place has a history of hosting unsanctioned events. Once CPD detectives complete the investigation in the shooting, Chicago's Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection will investigate and, quote, take the action needed. Now, in the wake of the shooting, Johnson said he'll continue to, quote, lead the call for common sense gun reform. There it is. There it is, exactly what I was talking about. You want to pull gun control on some urban crime warfare. I knew it. That's why the term mass shooting came up. lead the call for common sense gun reform to bring safety to all communities, explaining the proliferation of high-powered artillery is tearing the fabric of our nation. He made this an issue across the country and wanted to tie it to gun control. That's where I was weaving myself back around to. They still want to come after your guns. Thugs are running the streets, shooting everybody. And it should be noted, Illinois has the toughest gun laws in the country. How's that working out for you? You know what criminals do? They don't respect gun reform. I mean, come on. Idiots. Area detectives are investigating the shooting. Hours later, a 61-year-old man was shot on the west side, Chicago police said. Police said the shooting happened in the West Garfield Park neighborhood's 100 block of North Kilpatrick Avenue just before 6:30 p.m. Police said the man was transported in critical condition to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he later died. Wow, unbelievable. About 9:50 p.m., a man was riding a bike at the 6,000 block of South Champlain Avenue when he was shot in the neck while he was out for a bike ride. Wow. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center where he died due to his injuries. Whoa. Unbelievable. I mean, that's crazy. 18-year-old girl was shot in the right leg and left thigh, was taken to Stroger Hospital where she was in critical condition. A man, 19, was shot in the left ankle, was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he was in good condition. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. Just minutes earlier, a 31-year-old woman was shot and wounded following a verbal altercation while on an evening cruise at Navy Pier, police said. What is going on in this city? It's unbelievable. It's nuts. Witnesses said it happened around 12:20 a.m. as both the victim and alleged shooter were getting off the boat in the 600 block of East Grand Avenue. Following the argument, investigators said the man was escorted off the vessel by security, but he returned moments later and fired multiple shots towards the ship. People visiting the pier described hearing gunshots. As we were leaving, we heard 4 or 5 different shots. We didn't see anything, unfortunately. A woman was shot in the left knee and was taken to area hospital. It's unclear if she was the person that was arguing with the man earlier. A spokesperson for Navy Pier said that law enforcement was able to identify the shooter and his vehicle. Hours later, a man was wounded while walking on the sidewalk in River North. And, I mean, it goes on. He was 30 years old. Guys, he ended up taking one in the right hand, wrist, left arm, and buttocks. He got shot in the ass. Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, God almighty. Absolutely crazy. That was my point I was trying to make. I knew when I saw the term used by, I believe it was ABC up there in Chicago, their little snippet under their video, mass shooting, that it was going to tie somewhere back around. Sure enough, Brandon Johnson brings up gun reform and brings up the entire country and the wacko in Maine, of course, that shot a bunch of people, mentally deranged dude that should have been locked up, and somehow, some way, somebody didn't take his guns away. I don't know how that happened, but look, they have this incident happen. They call it a mass shooting when really it's just a large-scale version of anything that always happens every weekend in Chicago because the Democrats running the city don't want to hammer crime, but instead they want to blame heavy artillery that's plaguing our nation. Oh, wow. That's some more piss-poor deflection rhetoric from a worthless mayor and Democrat. There we go. I mean, it's out there. I knew as soon as I saw mass shooting, they were going to tie that into gun control somehow. Again, Illinois got the toughest gun laws in the country. You know who don't follow them? Mentally deranged people and thugs. That's not a thing. They don't respect laws and gun laws and going through the correct methods to obtain your weaponry. No, that doesn't happen. But these citizens up there don't have the ability to carry guns like they do here in Texas. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. It's crazy. If there's any way to make something political, and I mean, we can't have a shooting in this country without Creepy Sleepy using a walker to get up to a podium to try to have to give you a speech about how bad he wants to take away your guns. I mean, they can't wait. It's like, the White House is scheduled a comment for 7:20 tonight, and here he comes. If he doesn't trip over something getting to the podium to talk about we need to take away your guns in the United States. No, you need to bring back insane asylums, and in Chicago, you need to fund your police. Issue solved. And prosecute people and keep them in jail. Throw the book at them. It's easy. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network supporters. Halloween party. Shit. I bet Michael Myers, because you know Haddonfield is supposed to be in Illinois, okay, in the Halloween movies. Do you think Michael Myers, because he drives, we all know Michael Myers can drive, you think he's driven and he's come up to Chicago and Michael Myers is like, oh, hell no, and starts doing that, turning around so he can get the hell away from all that danger? Man, send Michael Myers into the neighborhood. See if he can't clear it out a good bit. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.